Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we have a truly unusual source document. It's one small, meticulously detailed entry from this massive personal documentation project.
It's incredible.
We're diving into a single blog post. It's titled Notes on Fishkeeping, Part 171. Should we get this, Jewel Cichlids?
Published January 12th, 2026.
Right. And it's by a writer who just calls himself Ang, the old software plumber.
Which is a fantastic title.
So our mission today is to analyze this one, seemingly low-stakes decision, buying a couple of fish.
Right. How hard can it be?
Exactly. But we're going to extract the real gold from it. We're talking about the high-level expert criteria that Ang uses to assess value, quality, and, of course, risk.
And we're going to show you that it doesn't matter if you're buying hardware, hiring someone, or picking out livestock.
This is a shortcut into how meticulous experts think, and maybe more importantly, how they avoid bad deals.
Yeah, what stands out to me right away is that this isn't just some casual diary entry. This is structured, professional-level documentation, but it's being applied to a hobby.
A software plumber. Writing about fish.
Precisely. His whole background is in free and open source software floss, and that gives this note this unique kind of rigor. It's a perfect case study.
So we're using this fish decision to decode the logic that underpins all high-quality decisions.
That's the plan.
Okay, let's unpack this.
Yeah.
So, first things first, Ang isn't a beginner here.
Not at all. He starts from a position of knowledge.
He notes right up front that he has extensive experience keeping and breeding Jewel Cichlids. He even mentions that these ones are not the round variety he's discussed before.
That little detail is so important. It immediately establishes that his criteria are based on seasoned expertise, not just, beginner's excitement.
He knows the difference between a good fish and a good fish for his specific project.
Exactly. He starts from a position of mastery. And that's what makes the initial temptation he describes so much more compelling. It's the classic expert's dilemma.
When do you bend your own rules?
Yeah. When you compromise your standards for what looks like a golden opportunity.
And what is that temptation? He says it's rare to find specimens with such vibrant coloration and elegant form.
And they're available at an affordable price.
So that sets up the classic conflict, right? High aesthetic appeal, low cost. It's perfect bait for an impulse buy.
It really is. It's like finding a brand new top-of-the-line server component listed for peanuts. Your heart starts racing a bit.
And your expert brain just screams, wait a minute, check the specs. Check the dependencies.
That analogy is perfect because this is exactly where his expert criteria kick in and prudence just takes over.
Despite the beautiful colors and the great price, he says he's somewhat wary. He doesn't just admire them.
No, he immediately subjects them to a risk assessment. He flags two specific high-risk issues that completely override that superficial appeal.
The first one is pretty basic, but it's non-negotiable in, any specialized project. Concerns about their overall health.
If the foundation is shaky, the whole investment is a waste. Time, effort, the whole tank's ecosystem.
It's technical debt, isn't it?
That's exactly what it is. Buying a fish with health concerns is buying technical debt. Down the line, you'll be spending 10 times the money and effort on medication, quarantine, maybe even cleaning up infections in your existing stock.
An expert avoids that debt up front.
Always.
But the second red flag is much more specialized, and this is the one that really signals Ang's mastery here, especially with cichlids.
Yeah, this is the devastating insight.
A noticeable lack of females in the tank.
From a professional standpoint, that's a huge problem. If your goal is pairing and breeding, a tank full of beautiful males is functionally useless.
Right. You need a high-quality female.
It signals an imbalance in the supplier's stock, maybe a lack of attention to detail on their end, and it just instantly complicates his main objective.
I have to jump in here, though. Wouldn't most people, seeing these beautiful fish at a great price, just buy the males and think, oh, I'll figure out the female situation later?
And that's the key difference between a casual hobbyist and an expert applying professional rigor. In Ang's world, whether it's software or livestock, you don't acquire a component unless you can verify its function within the larger system. The goal isn't just to own a pretty fish.
The goal is to create a stable, reproducing, quality pair.
That's it. The male is a dependency. If the key dependency, a compatible female, is missing or you can't verify her quality, the whole project stalls.
So this all means the sale is stalled, even with the beautiful, cheap fish right there.
The ultimate primary criteria, the non-negotiable factor, has to be met. He's crystal clear about it.
His main requirement is the availability of a quality pair.
Even if that pair hasn't bonded yet, the potential just has to be there.
If we connect this to the bigger picture for you, the listener, what is that single essential component your project hinges on?
That's your quality pair. A visually perfect bit of code is worthless if it breaks the entire system. Aang is looking for structural integrity, a verifiable path to success.
Which brings us to the timeline, and this is where you really see the patience. He postpones the decision.
Incredible discipline.
He says he'll reconsider in the coming week if they remain available and healthy. He's willing to lose the perfect-looking fish.
He'd rather lose them than compromise on the technical requirement of having a viable breeding pair. It's all about risk mitigation over that immediate gratification.
It's like a pull request in software.
That's a great way to put it. It has red flags, so it's declined. Simple as that. If the issues get resolved, maybe he'll reconsider. But until then, the deal is dead.
That pause, that disciplined pause, is the hallmark of professional risk management.
Absolutely.
So the fish decision is on hold, a perfect example of his standards. But where do these standards even come from?
Right, let's zoom out a bit.
Let's zoom out to the massive documented world of Aang, the old software plumber, and his work with flosses. This fish note, part 171, is just one pixel in a colossal picture.
You really have to acknowledge the sheer scale of this. Notes on Fishkeeping is at part 171, but you look at the post right next to it, you see part 170 on the trade-off between and 169 on Dubathix worms.
It's not sporadic. This is continuous, deep, topic-specific knowledge building.
Day in, day out.
And the consistency just blows me away. The blog archives go back to 2011. The output is, well, it's relentless.
What are the numbers?
We're talking 730 posts in 2023, 732 in 2024, and 36 posts just in the first 2 weeks of January 2026.
So that's basically 2 posts a day, every single day, for years.
This is not passive journaling. It's a deliberate, massive knowledge catalog.
An output like that requires a real philosophical commitment to documentation as a kind of intellectual discipline. He's simultaneously studying and documenting across these radically different, highly complex fields.
His projects list is something else. It reads less like a resume and more like a curriculum for a polymath.
Let's start with the tech side.
He has detailed notes on Haskell, Python, Go, Rust, and Elixir Erlang. These are not easy languages.
No, especially Haskell and Rust. They demand extreme attention to detail, rigorous thinking.
And that diversity is key, isn't it? Mastering Rust means you understand memory, safety, meticulous control. Mastering Haskell means you're engaging with deep mathematical rigor.
And the level of precision required for those languages is the exact same meticulousness he applies when he's checking the health and gender balance of a Cichlid.
The intellectual muscle memory is identical.
It is. Verify every input, check every dependency, and document every single step.
But then you jump from kernel-level software to his hobbies, and the approach is exactly the same. We see notes on gardening, which is already at part 774.
774 parts on gardening. Think about that. That level of systematic data collection on plants and soil demands the same approach as debugging a complex piece of software.
He applies structure to everything. Notes on photography, meditation, guitar. There's even notes on dieting with this incredibly specific entry.
Oh, the one on rice.
Part 112, dedicated to discovering the parboiled rice.
That level of granularity is wild. It just solidifies this idea that Aang sees his entire life as one big interconnected system,
where every detail, whether it's software architecture or the starch content of rice, is worthy of rigorous documentation.
And this philosophy is perfectly reflected in the organizations he supports. He explicitly sponsors them.
We're talking the Electronic Frontier Foundation, the EFF, the Free Software Foundation, or FSF, the Tor Project, and Wikipedia.
So his commitment to open source, to digital freedom, it aligns perfectly with the act of meticulously documenting his own knowledge journey and sharing it openly.
His documentation isn't just for him. It's a contribution to the public domain of specialized knowledge.
Whether that knowledge is about Haskell or Jewel Cichlids breeding, it's a feedback loop, you see. His work in the Flossic community teaches him the importance of documentation and transparency. He takes those skills, applies them to his hobbies, and then those hobbies refine his ability for systematic observation, which in turn makes him a better software plumber.
It's a virtuous cycle of expertise.
And he's constantly reminding us, never accept a black box.
You have to document, test, verify, and understand the components before you integrate them.
whether that component is a fish, a piece of code, or a gardening technique.
So what's the ultimate synthesis we can draw from this deep dive into one man's decision about a fish tank?
I think whether Aang is selecting a Cichlid or evaluating software architecture, the core principle is identical. Rigorous functional criteria have to override superficial appeal.
Even when that appeal includes a low price.
Especially then. His expertise is defined by his ability to spot that critical missing link, the quality pair, and just refuse to compromise, even when the aesthetics are screaming at him to buy.
So the key takeaway for you, the listener, is this. The true value of expertise lies in defining and holding firm to those crucial, non-aesthetic technical criteria.
Right. When you find a deal that looks too good to be true, you have to ask yourself, what is my quality pair? What essential dependency is missing or unverifiable?
If you're an expert in your field, you know exactly what that non-negotiable factor is. You have to stick to it. Never buy the beautiful cheap fish if you can't verify the health and balance you need for the project to succeed.
Which leaves us with a final, I think, important question. Given his long-standing documentation practice, Fishkeeping Part 171, Gardening Part 7 to 74, Haskell Part 29, what kind of knowledge compound interest accrues when you do that?
When you rigorously document even the smallest decisions and discoveries over more than a decade.
Does documenting the process itself become the primary source of wisdom? Does it transform every choice, no matter how trivial, into a documented, reusable learning module? Think about what you could accomplish if you applied that level of consistency to your own life's work.